Chosen ones, listen closely. What I'm about to share with you is urgent. It may even shock you. If you are watching this video right now, know that this is not by accident. God has led you here because something powerful is about to unfold in your life. You are being called into action. It's happening. God said, get ready and load up before May 10th. The time is now. This is a divine instruction, not a suggestion, but a command. What you've been waiting for, praying for, and hoping for is no longer just on the horizon. It's already moving into your reality. You are shifting from wanting to having, from desire to manifestation. The doors that once seemed closed are about to open, and you must be ready. You ever notice how God doesn't show up when you want him to? But when he does, it's always on time. That's not coincidence. That's not random. That's not luck. That's divine precision. God's timing isn't about your clock. It's about your calling. He's not reacting to your situation. He's orchestrating it. See, you thought the delay was denial. You thought the silence meant abandonment. But God has been working behind the scenes, aligning the pieces, preparing the path, making sure the moment you're in right now would hit you right when you need it the most. And now he's saying, it's time. The enemy wanted you to believe you were forgotten, but God never forgot you. He was saving the best part of your story for now. This isn't the season for you to second guess. This is the season to move boldly, to step into what's already been written for you. You've cried long enough, you've waited long enough, you've doubted long enough. Now, you gotta trust that what's coming is better than what you lost. And let me tell you, this shift you're feeling, that heaviness turning into hope, that's not your imagination. That's a signal from the heavens. That's God's voice whispering, get up, load up, move. I'm about to bless you in a way that makes sense only in hindsight. You're not too late. You're not too early. You're right on time for your destiny. But timing alone won't be enough if you ain't ready. God's precision comes with responsibility. He doesn't just bless movement, he blesses obedience. That means you've got to show up before you see the results. You've got to walk even if the road ain't lit. You've got to prepare even when nothing looks like it's coming. Because this message, this moment, is your confirmation. Some of y'all watching this right now are feeling the pull in your spirit. You can't explain it, but you know something's shifting. That's not anxiety, that's activation. God is waking you up because he's about to lift you up, and you can't afford to sleep through this season. Not when the doors are about to open, not when the breakthrough is scheduled to arrive. Look, don't mistake the preparation for punishment. Don't mislabel the process as pain, that waiting room you've been stuck in. It was the delivery room, and now God's saying push. The people who left you, the setbacks that broke you, the moments that nearly destroyed you, they were all timed perfectly. Not to harm you, but to humble you, to position you, because pride can't go where God's taking you next. Only surrender can. So listen to me, and I mean really listen. This is your burning bush moment. God is not suggesting, he's commanding. Get ready. Load up before May 10th. Don't wait for another sign. This is the sign. You didn't find this video, it found you. And when God speaks this clearly, you don't ask for more evidence. You obey, because this is no longer about waiting on God. It's about catching up to what he's already prepared. Chosen ones, go. But you need to understand how this powerful shift works, so you can fully embrace the manifestation of your desires. Before we dive into this life-changing message, take a moment to pause. Hit that like button, subscribe to help us reach 1,000 subscribers, and leave a comment with the number 77. This number holds immense power and will amplify the energy of this message. And remember, if you are truly a chosen one, you'll watch this video until the end. Your spirit already knows this is for you. If you're ready, then get ready. Now hear this, your pain was never pointless. Every tear you shed, every silent night you endured, every moment you thought no one saw you, God saw it all. And he didn't just watch, he stored it. He stored it like precious oil because what you went through wasn't wasted. It was woven into your preparation. See, you thought the pain was punishment. You thought it meant something was wrong with you. You thought God had turned his face. But listen, chosen one, God doesn't waste anything. He didn't let you suffer just to watch you break. He let the breaking happen so he could rebuild you stronger. You were never being buried, you were being planted. It's easy to believe in purpose when things are going well, but what about when everything falls apart? What about the seasons of betrayal, of confusion, of silence? What about when you prayed and nothing changed? Let me tell you, the pain you felt wasn't God ignoring you. It was God preparing you, because to carry what He's about to place in your life, your heart had to be shaped in fire. You can't carry glory with pride. You can't handle power with ego, so God stripped you. He isolated you. Not because you weren't worthy, but because you were called. And when you're called, the process ain't easy. It's crushing. It's refining. But it's divine. He took you through it so you could lead someone else out of it. Your testimony is being written with the ink of your own struggle. Somebody's waiting to hear how you made it. And your story will be their roadmap. You're not just being healed, you're being positioned. Look around, look at who's still standing after everything. You're still here. That ain't luck. That's favor. That's God saying, I'm not done with you yet. You survived what should have destroyed you. That alone is proof that your pain had purpose. It matured you. It stripped away the noise. It showed you who's real. It taught you how to depend on Him, and not them. So many people want the blessing but avoid the breaking. But the truth is, the blessing is in the breaking. That pain shaped you. It awakened your discernment. It made your prayers real. It gave you fire in your belly that nothing in this world could match. You came out of that fire with something hell couldn't steal: faith. And let me tell you what's next. Now that you've endured, now that you've been refined, God is about to reward you. That shift you feel, that stirring, that sudden desire to move, to act, to believe again. That's the pain doing what it was always meant to do, push you into purpose. It was never about the suffering. It was about the becoming. And you, chosen one, are becoming something unstoppable. So don't curse the pain. Don't regret the journey. Because the same struggle that almost broke you is the very path that's bringing you into your greatest breakthrough. You weren't being punished. You were being prepared. And now, you're ready. You're not broken. You're being rebuilt. That's the truth they never told you. They looked at your scars, your setbacks, your failures, and they labeled you as damaged, but they couldn't see what God was doing behind the scenes. You've been walking through seasons that tried to convince you that you're unworthy, too far gone, not enough. But I'm here to tell you, chosen one, what looked like brokenness was actually construction. Heaven's blueprint had to break some things down in you before it could build you up the way God intended. You see, the world wants perfection. They celebrate the polished, the strong, the ones who never seem to fall apart. But God doesn't use the perfect. He uses the willing. He uses the crushed, the overlooked, the ones who cried themselves to sleep and still got up the next morning with faith in their bones. You may feel shattered, but every piece that fell was making room for something stronger. You're not broken, you're under divine renovation. God had to strip you of some things that weren't built to last. That heartbreak, it removed the person who couldn't go where you're going. That failure, it taught you resilience that success never could. That closed door, it redirected you to something greater. What felt like destruction was protection in disguise. You were being pulled out of environments that kept you small, kept you silent, kept you doubting your own worth. But let me tell you something deeper. When God rebuilds you, He doesn't use old bricks. He doesn't patch over the cracks. He makes you new. This isn't about bouncing back to who you used to be. It's about rising into who you were always meant to become. You won't return to that version of you who was broken. You'll surpass them. You'll rise with more wisdom, more strength, more clarity, and more power. You're not broken. You're being sculpted. Just like a masterpiece that begins with raw stone, the artist must chisel away what doesn't belong to reveal the beauty within. That's what God has been doing with you. Every hit, every cut, every moment you questioned your worth, it was part of the shaping. And the hands doing the shaping, they're gentle, they're loving. They know what they're building. There's power in knowing that your scars aren't signs of defeat, they're signs of survival. Every mark on your soul is evidence that you didn't give up. That even in your weakest hour, something inside of you chose to keep believing, keep pushing, keep showing up. And now you're standing in the middle of a transformation so big, even you can't fully see it yet. But you will. You'll wake up one day and realize the heaviness is gone. The fear has lifted, the voices of doubt have grown quiet, and in its place there will be this unshakable knowing that you're not the same person who walked into the fire. You came out gold, refined, rebuilt. So don't let your past whisper lies about your future. Don't let the enemy convince you that because you've been broken, you're beyond repair. No, chosen one. You've been handcrafted by the Most High, and nothing formed against you can stop what He's rebuilding in you now. This next chapter, it won't be built on your pain. It'll be built on your purpose. And the best part? You're finally ready for it. Faith isn't waiting. It's walking into what you can't yet see. That's where so many people get it wrong. They think faith means sitting still, hoping God shows up, praying quietly while life passes them by. But real faith, it moves, it walks, it steps out into the unknown with nothing but trust in God's promise. That's what separates the chosen ones from the crowd. It's not about how loud you pray. It's about how boldly you walk when nothing looks ready. God doesn't need your comfort. He doesn't wait for the road to be clear before He calls you forward. He says go, and if you're truly walking by faith, you start moving even if there's fog ahead. Even if the finances don't add up. Even if the opportunity looks too big, or you feel too small, because faith doesn't wait for sight. Faith creates sight. It's the step that opens the door. It's the movement that activates miracles. Look at every person God ever used. They had to move before they saw results. Noah had to build the ark before the rain. Abraham had to leave home before he knew the destination. Moses had to step into the Red Sea before it parted. And you've got to walk forward now, before the blessing shows up, before the answer is visible, before the breakthrough makes sense. That's what faith requires, a holy boldness in the dark. See, we've been trained to wait for confirmation. We want signs, visions, security. But God's ways don't work like the world's. He doesn't send the whole plan. He gives you a word, a whisper, a promise, and then He watches to see what you'll do with it. Will you stay paralyzed, waiting for a full map? Or will you trust Him enough to take the first step with no guarantee except His faithfulness? That's the challenge right now. God isn't asking you to figure it out. He's asking you to follow. He's not testing your intelligence. He's testing your obedience. And sometimes the scariest thing you'll ever do is say yes to something you can't fully understand yet. But that's where the power is. That's where the supernatural happens. In the walk, not the wait. Your miracle is waiting on the other side of motion. You've prayed enough. You've cried enough. You've analyzed the situation from every angle. Now it's time to move. That business you've been thinking about starting? Take the first step. That book you've been wanting to write, start writing. That relationship God told you to let go of, walk away. Not when it feels easy. Now. Because the moment your feet hit the water, the seas will begin to shift, not before. And hear this, fear will always try to talk you out of your faith. It'll say, wait until you're ready, but faith doesn't wait for readiness. It moves anyway. Fear says, what if you fail? But faith says, what if God shows up? You'll never know unless you walk. The enemy wants you stuck in hesitation, but heaven is calling you into movement. You weren't meant to sit still in this season. You were meant to walk forward, even if all you've got is a whisper from God and a heart full of hope. That's enough. That's all it takes. So get up, dust off the doubt, wipe away the fear, and start walking. Because every step you take in faith is a declaration that you believe God more than your circumstances, that you trust His promise more than your pain. And when you walk by faith, you don't chase miracles. They chase you. Fear is a liar, and it's time you shut it down. It has whispered in your ear for too long, telling you you're not enough, that you'll fail, that your past disqualifies you from your future. But here's the truth, chosen one. Fear has no real power unless you hand it the keys. It's a shadow, it's smoke. It has volume but no weight. but no weight. It yells loud, but it can't hold you back unless you believe what it says. And for too long, you've believed it. You've let fear dictate your decisions, your silence, your hesitation. But not anymore. That ends today. Fear is a manipulator. It doesn't need proof. It feeds off your imagination. It doesn't show you reality. It paints false pictures in your mind, convincing you of worst-case scenarios that haven't even happened. It tells you you're going to be rejected, so you don't even try. It says you're going to fail, so you don't take the risk. It convinces you to play small, stay quiet, and never step outside the comfort zone. But that's not living, that's surviving. And chosen ones weren't born to survive. You were born to walk in boldness, to speak with authority, to carry power that no fear can silence. The truth is, fear never shows up empty-handed. It comes dressed in logic. It comes looking like caution. But underneath, it's an enemy to your destiny. It tries to protect you, but ends up paralyzing you. It pretends to care, but it's keeping you from the life God designed for you. So many of you are waiting on a sign when really you're being held back by a lie. And that lie is fear. But you want to know something powerful? Fear is terrified of your obedience. Because when you move forward in faith, when you act despite the trembling, despite the uncertainty, that's when fear loses all control. That's when chains break. That's when strongholds collapse. The enemy's greatest tactic isn't to destroy you, it's to delay you. It's to delay you. Because delay keeps you out of position. It keeps you from stepping into the moment God has already prepared. If fear didn't stop you, you'd already be walking in that calling. You'd already be building, creating, serving, rising. But here's the good news, it's not too late. You can shut it down now. Not tomorrow, not next week. Right now, you can say enough. I refuse to let fear decide who I become. And hear this, you're not alone in this fight. God has never called you to walk alone. His Spirit is in you, around you, pushing back against the lies of fear with the truth of His Word. Every time fear says, you can't, God says, I already equipped you. Every time fear whispers, what if it goes wrong? God says, what if it goes right? Courage isn't the absence of fear. It's moving through it with your eyes fixed on the promise. And the promise is still alive. The purpose is still waiting. But fear will do everything it can to keep you from it. Don't let it win. Don't let a moment of intimidation cancel a lifetime of divine assignment. You've been called, chosen, marked, and fear is beneath your feet now. It's time to rise, time to speak, time to step, because the only thing standing between you and the next level isn't a real obstacle. It's a lying voice that loses power the moment you stop believing it. And when you stop feeding fear, you start walking in freedom. Your victory is already secured. You just have to claim it. Too many people wait for the circumstances to change, for things to align perfectly, for the pieces to fall into place. But what if I told you that you're not waiting for the victory? It's already been won. You've been waiting on yourself to step into it. See, God's plan for your life is already in motion. The doors are already opening. The blessings are already flowing. But you have to take ownership. You have to walk into your victory and claim what's already yours. So many times we get caught up in the what-ifs and the I'm not ready thoughts. We talk ourselves out of taking action because we don't feel qualified. We look at our past mistakes, our failures, our weaknesses, and we think we're disqualified from receiving what's already ours. But let me tell you something. Your victory has nothing to do with your perfection and everything to do with God's grace. He's not waiting for you to get everything right before He blesses you. His promises are unconditional. They're waiting for you to say, I'm ready to receive. Look at your life right now. What are the areas where you've been doubting? What are the dreams that you've been putting off because fear made you second-guess yourself? It's time to take the first step, even if you don't know exactly where it will lead. Because victory isn't about knowing every step. It's about trusting that when you step out in faith, the next step will be revealed. God doesn't need you to have it all figured out. He needs you to trust that He has already paved the way. When He called you to this, He didn't call you to failure. He didn't call you to mediocrity. He called you to greatness. And now, It's time for you to act like you believe it. The victory is already secured, and it's waiting for you to step into it. You're not behind schedule, you're not too late, you're not disqualified, you're right on time. Everything you've been through, everything you've endured, has been part of God's perfect plan to bring you to this moment. It wasn't wasted. It wasn't for nothing. All those moments of doubt, all those tears, all those challenges, they were part of your preparation. They were shaping you for this victory. You had to walk through some fire to be refined, but now you're ready to wear the crown. But here's the truth. God won't force you to step into what's already yours. It's up to you to walk through the door He's already opened. You can stand at the threshold and wonder if you're worthy, or you can step into the victory that has already been laid out for you. It's yours for the taking. So stop waiting for permission. Stop waiting for the perfect moment. Stop waiting for all the pieces to fall into place. The time is now. The victory is already yours, but it's up to you to claim it. The enemy will try to tell you that you're not enough, that you can't have it, that you're not deserving. But those are lies. The truth is, you are more than enough. You are called. You are chosen. And God has already secured the victory for you. Now it's time for you to walk in it. So, take a deep breath. Take a step forward. The victory is already yours. You just have to claim it.